Hello everybody, thank you so much for coming back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Riley. You may have heard of me over on Instagram if you're on the Instagram reseller world as Honey Rags. I am a full-time reseller and I also stay at home with my 3 young children. I resell on Poshmark, Etsy, and eBay mainly. So before I even start, as you guys can see by the title, I'm going to talk about 13 things not to do as a reseller. And the last thing I want to do is make somebody feel bad. I don't want to make anybody feel like their business model is wrong. I don't want to make them feel like they're not doing it right. So please take everything I say with a grain of salt. The last thing I want to do is bring negativity into the reseller world. This is just coming from my personal experience, but if some of these things that I say not to do as a reseller actually work for you, that's great, because you were better at it than I was. And I know every single business model is different. So please take it with a grain of salt. I really do not want to hurt any feelings or bring negativity. I just have to get that off my chest because that's the last thing I want to do. Also, about a year and a half ago, when I was still kind of new to YouTube, I think I had like maybe 2,000 YouTube subscribers, I made a video called 7 Mistakes I Made as a Reseller on Poshmark. And it ended up being my most popular video, my most viewed video. I think it racked up almost 200,000 views. And in hindsight, I was so ill prepared for the video. I was new to YouTube, so I thought I would do an updated version of that, just a little bit different. And instead of 7 things, I have 13 things. So one thing not to do is limiting yourself to one platform. Now, I do know a couple of people over on Instagram who are avid resellers and they do make a legit income on one platform. But for me, limiting myself to one platform didn't make sense, because I sell anything and everything. I sell Amazon returns. I sell like vintage estate items. I sell quirky Goodwill home decor. I sell clothing. I sell everything. And if you limit yourself to Poshmark, which is mainly clothing focused, you're going to miss out on the opportunity of selling the home goods or the like the Amazon return stuff. And honestly, I've noticed on Poshmark specifically, Poshmark and Etsy, they get slower during the summer months. I believe that all platforms get slower during the summer months because I think less people are online shopping. But usually when one platform slows down, another platform will pick up. I will have a week, even 2 weeks sometimes, where I'm barely making any sales on Poshmark, no matter how much I share my closet, no matter how much I offer to Likers, no matter how reasonable my prices are. I'll have slow weeks, and 9 out of 10 times when I'm having a slow week on one platform, my sales will be picking up simultaneously on a separate platform like eBay or Etsy. So it is nice having those multiple streams of income from different platforms. So don't limit yourself to one platform unless you have a business model like where you are selling boutique items on Poshmark and you don't want to sell anything else. Then of course I can understand why you would just sell on Poshmark specifically. So a lot of newer resellers are misled, thinking that they can resell collectibles. So some people specialize in collectibles and reselling collectibles works for them. But when most people think of collectibles, I think we all think of like collectible baseball cards, collectible maybe mid-century Pyrex, collectible Hummel figures, maybe even collectible TY Beanie Babies. But your chances of walking into a thrift shop and finding a used baseball card or mid-century Pyrex or a rare Hummel figure are very, very low. You're more likely to find more bread and butter pieces like Fire King and Fiesta, or even some name brand clothing. A lot of resellers, new resellers, are under the impression that just because it's an old baseball card or just because it's an old Hummel figure or just because it's old Pyrex, it's collectible. And I guess technically you could consider it that, but the market is so saturated with collectibles. As you guys know, the whole TY Beanie Baby phase, that was like, they were releasing them as they would be worth money in the future and just thousands, hundreds of thousands of people went and bought all these Beanie Babies, and now they're worth nothing. And sadly, a lot of people held on to them thinking that they would be able to pay their kids' college tuition with them, and you pretty much can't even give TY babies away. There are some rare ones, but your chances of finding those are, I mean, honestly, not even worth it. So don't try to focus too much on collectibles. Do not limit yourself to one way of sourcing. So when I first started reselling, I pretty much exclusively got all of my items in my inventory from Goodwills and thrift shops and Goodwill outlets. And that was great. I had great part-time income. I was putting in part-time work to make it fair. You know, I have 3 kids, so I could only go to a couple of Goodwills a day, rather than like go to Goodwills all around town in the outskirts of town. I couldn't do that with 3 kids. So there are plenty of different ways of sourcing between retail arbitrage, estate sales. People even do online sourcing. Sorry if I'm giving away any secrets, but a lot of people will search on Poshmark for luxury brands, and they will find a closet, like someone who's selling their personal closet, and they will bundle a few luxury items together and then offer at a discount. And then if you're good at authenticating items, they will have those items delivered to their house, authenticate them, and then resell them and make, you know, double, triple the profit depending on the piece. So don't limit yourself to one way of sourcing. There's plenty of things out there, including Amazon return pallets, which if you guys are regulars, you know I'm a sucker for those. This one may be common sense, and I do not want to rub anyone the wrong way, because I know it's very easy to get your emotions into reselling, which I have my emotions like in knee deep in reselling. But don't be rude or condescending to your customers, no matter how bad they are. I am not going to lie. I have been guilty of that, where I've been condescending to a really, really difficult customer who I honestly believed was like trying to basically fraud me out of my money on eBay by like making a false claim. But no matter what, do not be rude to your customers. If they've already purchased from you, even if something happened and it's not your mistake, just please try to keep a professional mindset, especially on eBay, because unfortunately for sellers, eBay is very buyer oriented. And if they open up a case against you, if the buyer opens up a case against you on eBay, eBay has access to all of the messages that you replied to them, and it's not going to look good in your case, no matter how right or wrong you were. Even if it wasn't your fault that something arrived damaged or whatever the case may be, just do not be rude to customers. I have had customers say, especially on eBay, just be really, really rude to me over things that weren't my fault, like something that got lost in UPS, in the USPS system, and was never delivered to them. Just please, at all costs, bite your tongue. I know it's very hard, and a lot of people let their emotions get the best of them, but it is not a good business look. This probably is common sense for some people, but I have noticed a trend on the Instagram community where people will, and like I said, please, please, please don't take this as an insult, but I've noticed a trend on the Instagram community where are like almost like proud to post their rude responses to their rude customers, like, haha, told that off, you know, told that blank off. And like, yeah, I know it's funny, but at the same time, like, it's probably something you shouldn't do, especially if you're planning on making a full-time income from this. So please keep that in mind. Here's a big one. I did this for a while. Never discredit an item, especially if you're thrifting. Never discredit something because it's ugly or not your taste. There was a long time where I would only pick up items, mainly when I was selling on Etsy exclusively, vintage items. I would only pick up vintage items that I loved. If I thought something was ugly, I wasn't going to pick it up. But you have to keep in mind, everybody has different taste. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I kind of started exploring on Etsy at the time, because I think I was selling exclusively on Etsy when I first started. I was exploring people's shops, like successful Etsy shops, and I was kind of just scrolling down their reviews and what sold, and a lot of the things that they were selling were like hideous. And I know morally, a lot of you guys would feel, I know morally it sounds bad, like I'm gonna sell this ugly ass dress, or I'm gonna sell this ugly ass home decor and make money off of somebody because it's so ugly. But you just have to remember, just because it's not your taste or you think it's ugly doesn't mean there isn't a market for that piece. So I've started picking up uglier clothing, uglier name brand clothing. Like there's some ugly Carlisle things that I picked up, and I'll be open and honest, like I think it's ugly, but I'm not that morally, I don't think I'm wrong for selling it because someone's clearly willing to buy it. So don't discredit something just because it's not your taste. You'll miss out on a huge buyer's market if you are only buying things that you like, unless there are some exceptions, like people on Poshmark who will only put like boho, natural, earthy items in their closet, and they have a lot of returning customers. Another thing is, if you are a new reseller, because I think a lot of newer resellers fall for this, do not fall for the reseller boxes by liquidation companies. So I definitely don't want to get sued. I mean, I don't think I'm anywhere near having enough like followers to be sued by a company yet, but there are a few different companies that I've noticed surfacing on Instagram, and what they will do is they will reach out to an influencer, which I think is like an Instagram account that has over like 15,000 followers. Each company has a separate break off for how many followers is considered an influencer. And I've been reached out to these companies, and I don't give them the time of day, but they will reach out to resellers who have a following, and they will basically send them a free box of reseller inventory. Now these are supposedly hand-picked, liquidated brand name items, right? 9 out of 10 times they're findling you for your money. If there was really a potential profit in that box, like a huge profit, and it's hand-picked, I highly doubt that they would be selling those boxes for $25 a piece. Now, I'm not talking about Poshmark reseller boxes, reseller mystery boxes, because those are from people like you and me. But just, if you see an influencer on Instagram who is a reseller and they're advertising these great reseller boxes from a company that caters to resellers, you have to keep in mind, when that company reached out to that influencer, they are going to send them their best box. So if somebody's pulling out like tons of name brand clothing and they're like, I can make $500 off of this $25 box, they sent that box specifically to that influencer so that they could basically con people into buying more of their boxes. But the boxes that I guess you could say regular people buy are it's going to be hard to make your profit back, and it's really not worth it. So don't fall for those reseller boxes. I should say allegedly they send junk in them, because I am so afraid of getting flagged. Allegedly. Okay, another thing is, if you are switching from Poshmark to eBay, I shouldn't say switching, if you are maybe transitioning or you want to do both platforms, eBay does not work like Poshmark, clearly, in many ways. They're totally different. But on Poshmark, a lot of resellers have a business model of overpricing their items just a bit. I shouldn't even say overpricing, just maybe inflating the price like 20%. That way, they can send out offer to likers more, and then the customer, retail stores do this all the time. They inflate the price and then they run sales all the time. So on Poshmark, you can inflate the price of something a little bit, and you can still expect it to sell by either someone sending you an offer or offering to likers, which a lot of people do. eBay does not work like that. I mean, it does, because you can receive offers and send offers on eBay now, but I just don't think the general eBay customer base has the same mindset as the Poshmark customer base. Because on eBay, what I've noticed is I will sell it, I will list it 9 out of 10 times at my lowest asking price dollar amount. And that way I don't have to bother with offers to likers. A lot of people don't even know that you can send offers on eBay. A lot of eBay shoppers are kind of, they're scrolling through thousands of eBay listings, so they're just going to look for the cheapest thing. They're not going to bother to offer a price or offer on something. So just remember, if you are switching over to eBay, your best chance of having multiple sales and bringing in a full-time or even part-time income from that is just to offer it at a reasonable price. Try not to inflate it, and don't expect to get a lot of offers on eBay. So I'm so sorry. When I first started this video, I had a great intro. I got a piece of beef jerky stuck in my throat. I skipped lunch, so I knew if I was going to make it through the video, after like 30 or 40 minutes of talking, I was going to have to like take beef jerky and coffee intervals. And at the beginning of this video, which I will edit out, I had a piece of beef jerky stuck in my throat. And I'm sure you guys don't want to open up a new YouTube video and the first thing you see is someone gagging because there's beef jerky in their throat. For those of you who have stuck around this far, thank you. Okay, so this one that I'm going to read you guys is actually a recommendation from my fiance, because I was sitting on the couch across from him last night and I'm like, I'm making this video tomorrow. Do you have any advice on what not to do with a reseller? And he gave me like a bunch of like very obvious ones. And I'm like, they already know that. Like, I want to tell them things that they might not know, that they might be doing and they can't figure out why it's not working for them, whatever. So he said, if you are buying in person on the Facebook Marketplace or something from Craigslist or even an estate sale, garage sale, whatever, he says, never offer first. So when they ask, what are you willing to pay? You're supposed to ask, I had to read because I'm like, okay, listen, I'm really bad at in-person offers because I honestly, like if I lowball an offer, I just feel bad. And if someone, I mean, okay, it's different if someone has something that they're trying to sell for $5 and you know that it's worth like $5,000, like morally, is that wrong? I don't know. I've never had that happen to me, but I honestly, if I saw, and I'm not just saying this to make myself sound better, I think if I saw something at an estate sale and I knew for a fact it was worth thousands of dollars and they only had $5 on it, I think I would honestly just let them know the value of it. I do. But I've never been in that situation, so maybe I'm just a horrible person and maybe I would just pay $5 for it. I honestly don't know. I guess you also have to keep in mind when you are offering in person like that, I guess just know if somebody doesn't have a price on something and you know it's worth $500 and you want to offer them, you know, $75 and you may feel bad for that offer, just know that if you don't buy that item, there are probably like 5, 6, or 7 other people, depending on the area, that will be in line behind you, like figuratively speaking, to buy that item. So I guess it's a whole moral thing. So just keep that in mind. I guess don't let your emotions get to you too much about that kind of stuff, unless the person, like if the person was like clearly in need, and they had something that was worth $5,000, I would hope that you guys would let them know the value of it. And I know some of you may take that the wrong way, but I'm not a moral guide, okay? I resell clothes and vintage stuff and Amazon pallets, okay? Anyway, my fiance just wrote down, never offer first. So if someone asks, what are you willing to pay for it? You say, what do you want for it? So let them give you a number first. That way you know where they stand. I don't know. I don't know the rhythm behind it. My fiance gave me this. He wrote it down for me, and I still don't really understand how that would benefit you. Maybe I should have taken that one off. Okay. Here's another one. Don't buy things just because they're vintage. So, I think most seasoned resellers know this. Think about it. If you walk into Goodwill, the Goodwill bins, a garage sale, probably 60 to 70% of the items in there, especially home decor, well, not home decor, especially like kitchenware and stuff like that, is vintage. Like 70% of everything at my Goodwill is vintage. So don't think that something is worth money just because it's vintage. I actually, embarrassingly, when I very first started reselling vintage clothing back in 2016, I was picking up like 1980s. I was picking up like anything 1970s. Okay, here. If it predates 1950, and it's like an article of clothing and it's a fancy dress, it probably is special because the older the better. Now, if you find something from the 1800s, pick it up, okay? I'm talking like 1950 to 2000. Yeah, just because it's from those eras does not make it resellable. I made the mistake of picking up a lot of like 1980s, 1970s, and even 1960s items that I was just sitting on. 1960s is my favorite decade, but when people want it, most people, not collectors, most people, when they want to buy like a 1960s dress, they want it to look 1960s. You know, so like the solid color 1960s, the solid color 70s, the big shoulder pad 80s, those are a dime a dozen. So don't overbuy vintage items just because they're vintage, because the market's so saturated with vintage items. Pick up vintage pieces that are special. That's what I try to do. Should I? Why not? Okay. Oh my God. I'm done. I'm done. This video has to end. You guys want to know how unprofessional I am? This is what I'm reading off of. I'm not like reading it from a script. I made bullet points. When I asked my fiance yesterday for advice on what to put down, he just told me about the offer thing, which I really didn't understand. But I kept this list on our counter over there so I didn't forget to make the video today. My fiance added, right down here, at the very bottom, don't buy a shit ton of golf cart windshields. There's a backstory. About a year ago, he went to a local auction and they had like 15 to 20 golf cart. Oh my God, golf cart windshields. And he was getting a deal on them. I think he got the whole lot for, I don't know how much he got it for. Moral of the story, he comes home with a truckload of these giant golf shield. Oh my God, I can't talk. These giant golf cart windshields. And he brings them all in the house and I'm like, where are you going to put those? He's like, I'll figure it out. But guess what? These sell for $150 a piece. I'm like, okay. Well, he didn't think about shipping prices. He didn't think about supply and demand. He didn't think, how many people are going to go on eBay and buy a golf cart windshield? Like, I feel like most people would go to like a supply store for something like that. So he just added that on because basically we got stuck with like 12, I think he sold a couple of them, but we ended up getting stuck with like 12 golf cart windshields and they're just taking up space and he like can't give them away on the marketplace now. So don't buy a shit ton of golf cart windshields. I'm on my last one. I feel like I whipped through this video. How informative was it? Because I wanted this to be informative, but I'm not sure. Don't worry about retail price. So as you guys probably know, I worked in retail for like a couple of years when I was a teenager, and I specifically worked at a jewelry counter, and our jewelry prices were marked up 20-fold. It was crazy. Our clothing prices were marked up 20-fold because we always ran sales. At the store that I was at, there was always a sale. So I'm not talking luxury items, because obviously their retail price is like, that's the retail, that's the damn price, okay? But like basic brands, like something you'd find at Macy's or even Nordstrom Rack, if you look at the actual MSRP, that honestly means nothing, because any department store like that is going to run sales on those things. And especially in the retail, especially in the reseller world, retail prices mean nothing. It does look good if you have a new with tags, like Show Me Your Mumu dress that retailed for what, $400. You can put that in the title, like MSRP $400, selling it for $90. That looks good, but don't base your prices off of the retail price of that item. Base your prices off of the sold prices over on eBay or Poshmark. I have another one to add also. Don't always trust Poshmark sold prices. I made this mistake at the beginning. like when you go to Poshmark and look at what sold, it will show you things that sold for, you know, $50, $75, $10, $12, whatever. You get the point. A lot of times that type of stuff can be bundled together. Like somebody bundled 10 things and then the seller offered like a 40% discount or something like that. So if something, maybe it did sell. Maybe something for $50 sold for $50 on Poshmark. That's very possible. A lot of the times it does. But it's also possible that it was bundled and it really only sold for like 40% of that price or something like that. You get me. I feel like the eBay sold listings are a little bit more reliable. So now when I'm selling clothing on Poshmark, I will not look up the Poshmark sold price. I will look up what it sold for on eBay. So I think I got through it all. 1, 2, do I have 13 here? I'm very unprofessional. My son just got done playing with his Hot Wheels and he just tried to steal my coffee. Hold on. You can't drink coffee, sweetie. I can give you water or milk. So I should wrap up here because I know my son's going to ruin the video within the next minute if I don't. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I came in this video with the goal of making it a little bit more professional than my previous video that racked up all those views. And it turns out it was almost a disaster. I had beef jerky stuck in my throat. My son was in and out. So thank you so much for watching. For those of you who are nosy like I am in the process of, I shouldn't say in the process. I opened up my own website. It's honeyragsco.com. I'm going to leave a link down below in the video description to my website. It is not finished. I have a lot to do with it. I basically, of course I have things for sale on it, but I also want it to be like a reseller resources center all on one page. So all the tips and stuff I have from multiple different resellers, I will try to reach out to them and get that all on my website. I will also try to have links to people. I will also try to have links for people who don't know where to start with like Amazon returns or online arbitrage and stuff like that. I will have links to websites for that. I have a lot of plans for it, but I also am super busy. So I am working on the website, but I am taking it seriously. So if you want to go give it a visit, it helps the algorithm apparently with the Google search. Also, go follow me over on Instagram because I'm way more responsive on Instagram. Even though I read every single YouTube comment I get, it is very difficult for me to respond to each one sometimes, but just know that I'm reading them and I love you. The positives like make my day. So not to get sappy, go follow me over on Instagram at honey.rags. I will also leave a link down below in the description to that. As always, happy selling, happy sourcing, happy thrifting, and stay safe.